Hello, I'm Gerald Davis. In 1975, I went completely under financially. I didn't want to come out of the house. I didn't want to get out of the bed. I was so grieved and upset. I got into a business that I didn't know anything about, trying to get some money together so I could feed my family and do some ministry. And I was pastoring a church at the time, but it didn't pay me much. And 2 years following that, I sought God for answers to my problem. One day I was sitting at my desk, started a church out in Odessa, Texas, and I said, God, you called me to preach, you anointed me to preach. I've seen the results of that. You told me to go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature, and I'd do it if I had the money. And I said, you've got the money. You could get it to me if you wanted to. You love those lost souls more than I do. And they can't hear without a preacher. And they can't have a preacher unless he's got some money to go. And I said, what is your problem? Yeah, I really said that to God. But you know, he didn't get mad at me. He just spoke to me. I heard that voice down in here. Said, if you did what I told you to, you'd have the money. The things he started showing me, I just broke up and cried. I said, God, I promise if you'll show me, I'll do it. And over the years, he began to show me things like I'd never seen from the scriptures. I mean, I'd read them numbers of times, just never saw what I began to see. And as a result of that, I went overseas, did missionary trips, paid for everything as I went, and got out of debt in 1987, haven't had to borrow money. No, I got out of debt in 88, haven't had to borrow money since 87. And now I have everything cleared and paid for with no debt. And so I wrote a book. Yeah, I wrote a book. I wrote this book titled, How to Function in This Economy According to Heaven's Economy. On that occasion there in Odessa, Texas, on a Saturday night, God spoke to me and he said, my people know when they die their troubles are over. They know there'll be no more sorrow, pain, trouble, heartache, tears, no more bills to pay. What they don't know is how to get from now till dying time walking in success. And I heard that voice down inside me said, why don't you tell them that? Well, I said, God, what do I know? I bankrupted 2 years ago. That was in 75, of course. And now in 77, I'm having this conversation with God. And from that point, God told me, I heard it down in here. He said, if you'll do what I tell you to do, you will have money. I started doing it. And now I'm where I am today, enjoying life at a level that I never dreamed because of the principles he taught me. So I wrote this book, How to Function in This Economy. And these are the titles. Oral Roberts read this book and wrote me a letter. And he said, this book is full of rich personal experiences, and it's a positive faith in the people of God. These are the chapter titles. The Father's Need. Does God need anything? I found out he did. And I'll tell you what it is here. This is a chapter title, Prosperity by Default. How is it that God will do this for me? Because I deserve it? No, because I found out what to do and obeyed him. And then one titled, The Prosperity of Fools. Solomon said in Proverbs 131, the prosperity of fools will destroy him. And then there's one chapter titled, What It Means to Be a Liberal Soul. He said the liberal soul will be made fat. And then one chapter titled, Giving with Receiving in Mind. Is that right or is it wrong? Brother Roberts told me face to face that that's the best message he ever heard on that subject. And then another, Windows in Heaven and a Cup Running Over. That's a personal testimony about how God gave me a beautiful Arabian mare and also how he healed a diesel engine in a Mercedes-Benz that I put gasoline in by mistake. You got to see that. And then one chapter titled Tares Among the Good Seed. What are those tares? And then one chapter titled 6 Hindrances to Receiving Your Harvest. You've tithed, you've given, but you don't seem to see the blessing and the benefit that he promised you would have. And there's a reason. There are 6 things I show you that can hinder that harvest. And then one chapter titled What It Means to Be Dried Out to the Devil. Jesus said the devil went into dry places seeking rest, finding none, went back to the house he came out of. And the last day of that man's worse than the first. So there are places where the devil can't find a foothold and he can't do his dirty work. And then one chapter titled Due Season, Tough Times, and Light Afflictions. If God wants me blessed, why am I going through this? And then here is another. What to do if your brook dries up. I show you 5 things. When your back is against the wall, you don't know which way to turn, your uncles and aunts and nobody can help you. What to do if your brook dries up. A powerful message. And then the secret to obtaining scriptural, God-given wealth. And the last chapter is titled God's Plan for Old Age. Once again, this is the title of the book, How to Function in This Economy. And you could add according to Heaven's Economy. This is Gerald Davis inviting you to get a copy of this 253-page book that I know will change your life.